Get this one going in 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go. Finals match number 2. Blue looking to win. Red looking to stay alive. Autonomous mode off to a hot start. Blue Alliance looking like they're going to take the advantage. Oh, and a technical foul is called on 6800. They're just over that line. Blue Alliance off to a 20-point lead in Autonomous. But 670's whipping rings out of the field. We'll see if that is an issue or just something they did the once. We've already got amplified goals on both the red and blue side of the field. 1, 2, 3, and 4 up for blue. Citrus doing the same, and they are already up and started putting some in that amp. Mechanical Advantage has put 1 and having a little trouble with the second into the amp. It falls on the floor. That means Citrus is gonna have a second to get caught up. Right now, it looks like the Red Alliance has been able to take a lead, but Blue Alliance has an amplified speaker. Red Alliance, though, has an amplified speaker of their own, and Citrus is getting to work on that thing. 77-75, Red Alliance in the lead. Mechanical Advantage doing their best to amp, but they're having some issues. They put a few on the floor in a row. But right now, it looks like we've got 2 in the amp for red, 2 for blue. We've got amplified speakers on the red side and the blue side. Right now, we'll see if teams can score up in those amplified goals. Red is furiously putting them in the amp, but they just cannot keep up with feeding Citrus circuits. Meanwhile, on the blue side, Mechanical Advantage has more notes than they know what to do with. This is a little back and forth. It's getting wild there on the feeder side as 670 has been playing very good defense on 2046 and Valor, who are trying to load from their feeder station. We are into the end game with a 1-point difference. We've got a high note for red. We have got 2 in the amp for red. Red amplified speaker, 1 in. Blue amplified speaker. Can they score anything? We will see. Let's see if we can get up. Citrus down. Valor up. No robots up for blue. 670 not moving. We've got 1 high note up for red. This is another incredibly close match. We'll be right back with the final scores, and we'll see if we're going to crown a champion or if we're going to go to 1 more. All right, we're gonna hold on before we put that score up. This finals match 2 was very close. It was so close, in fact, there was only a 1-point gap. So let's see who had 1 more point on the board right now. And we are going to 3! Red Alliance takes the win. Red Alliance, 1 high note was the difference in that match. Absolutely fantastic performance by both alliances. I need a moment to catch my breath. Robo Sports Network. I need that match broken down. I need it in my life.
How many times have you seen in Final 2 1 robot not parking decide a match?
That is wild. I mean, If you're a fan of chaos, you got it right there. I mean, the energy just went up and up. The crazy just got bigger and bigger the closer we got to the end of that match.
We have to go to replay because I need to remind everybody that the Red Alliance was down by 20 points after autonomous mode. So let's see how the Red Alliance came back to get over that deficit and win by only 1 point.
And what put the Blue Alliance up is crossing the line right here. And it looked like 2910 was going to hit him, but no, the ref says, oop, there it is.
And that's the second time that that's happened in this series. There's an A-stop button, just reminding y'all.
So we kick into the Teleop portion of the match. We do have a 20-point deficit as we kick off, and immediately the notes start piling up on both alliances here. What Red Alliance does differently is Valor, it continues to come up anytime there's a few extra notes over here to help with the amplification cycles.
And they're also playing defense over here on mechanical advantage when they already know that Citrus Circuits has enough rings down there to stay occupied for a little bit.
And every time there's an amp, we see a Valor show up. That's an excellent strategy. Whereas Blue is going more with the stockpile the notes. And for the most part, they're very well protected over there.
What is very interesting to me is that this exact same thing happened in match 1, where the notes were piling up in that corner. It started to become difficult for mechanical advantage to kind of deal with that themselves. And Blue Alliance just doesn't react fast enough to that. And in the first match, they did a really good job of that. But in this match, they were too late with that reaction.
So we do see mechanical advantage start to struggle a little bit with getting the notes into the amp. And this is where really the Red Alliance is starting to clean up and gain weight. Remember, they've already cleared a 20-point deficit, so we're starting to feel like they've got the momentum on their side.
Yeah, and this is where the Blue Alliance does switch to a defensive robot, whether that was intentional or because of a robot performance issue, we're unsure. But they really do a great job of tripping up that Red Alliance right in front of their source.
So quickly, because all these notes were cleared in the corner, that gave Blue the ammo to get their numbers pumped up and get this back to a neck-and-neck match.
I mean, tied with 47 seconds left is just crazy for a Finals 2 match.
And this defense really is starting to slow the Red. We see that Citrus doesn't have the stockpile that they have been having, and this is really where Blue is suffering from the same thing. Where are the notes? We're right in the middle of an amplification cycle, and no Blue robots are ready to put that to work.
Same thing over here. Red just started an amplification cycle. They had one ring in here. 6800 comes over with a ring. Citrus now goes and snipes this ring from the source of the Red, and now they've gotten one pass note over here as well, but the cycle's already over.
Yeah, and this is really where we start to see the game has just grinded to a complete halt. It's like we're playing rugby over here. We've got a scrum happening in the middle of the match. It's still neck and neck, just a 1-point differential as we go in those final 15 seconds. Yeah. And at this point, we've got 870 Homestead Robotics not moving any longer. So that defense that they were playing took its toll on that robot.
And all tied up, 15 seconds left to go. And this is where the Red Alliance absolutely puts the nail in the coffin. They've got 2 robots over here ready to score. They've got 2 rings in the amp. Blue Alliance, 1 ring in the amp, and no robots over here ready to go.
And I think what happens with Citrus is they want to make the most of this amplification cycle, but it hasn't even started yet, and there's only 9 seconds left in the match. And this is where I think they rush what they're trying to do with the trap. We know it takes them about 6 seconds to put it in. They're starting late. They don't fully line up, and they fall over whenever they attempt the trap. And
they did score 1 note in the speaker when they had 2 in the amp, but didn't press that button, and so that could have made the difference in the match. Luckily, it didn't. But Blue Alliance just has a kind of crazy endgame over here. Red Alliance comes away with the win by 1 point. We are going to a Finals match 3.
Loved it. So the Red Alliance scoring 18 of their notes during amplified portions of this matchup. There's going to be some differences, though, going into this next match. We don't know what the lineups are quite yet, but we did see that Homestead Robotics wasn't moving at the end of the match.
And we also know that this Blue Alliance has used their 4th robot. That's
5199 Robot Dolphins from Outer Space.
Sorry, that was a little dyslexia moment there for me. But we haven't really seen the Red Alliance utilize their fourth alliance partner at all. But they seem to have all robots functioning in that match. Blue Alliance, it seems, needs to switch something up in this next match to be able to pull ahead like we've seen them do all tournament.
Yeah, that fourth robot we haven't seen is Unirex 5817. So we'll be seeing if something changes. Honestly, if you're on the Red Alliance, you've been doing well. I don't know that you try to change anything up. If you're on the Blue Alliance, I don't think you change anything up either if Homestead Robotics is able to play again.
Yeah, and you know what I thought was really interesting with Homestead Robotics is, again, them switching to that defensive mode in the middle of the match. Again, we don't know if that was strategic, if it was planned, if it was, you know, an on-the-fly thing, but they really did a good job playing defense on that Red Alliance and did slow them down significantly. And if they had kept moving that entire match, I don't know if 6800 would have gotten back to shoot that last ring in, which and be able to climb, which was the difference in the match.
Right, so Blue Alliance wins by 2 points in the first finals match. We play finals match 2. Red Alliance wins by 1 point. Also doesn't get all of their end game points quite as high as they could, so there's a little bit of points left on the table. But really, it's neck and neck, both of these matchups. Yeah. There's not one clear, thing we can point to that says, like, this is the reason an alliance pulled away or not.
And this is what is so fun about watching a competition or finals of a competition that has so many high-level teams, is that you get to see these really close matchups. Nobody's blowing anyone out of the water now. And so you really have to dig deep. You have to talk. You have to communicate as an alliance. What is the one mistake that we made? You're not talking about 5 or 6 mistakes. What's the one mistake that we made that we can't make again so that we can make sure we win this match?
Well, I think you already said it. Use the A stop.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, come on, y'all.
That's getting those points away in autonomous mode. Those would really help in both of these matches so far. They're much bigger than the delta between the final scores.
Yeah, 1 time is an accident, 2 times is on purpose. So. We've got robots being tested. We've got function checks. We have a break during this time so that all of the robots can be fully functional. They can change batteries. They can cool down motors. And we've got all the pit crews right next to us that are trying to make sure these robots are working 100% so that we can have just as entertaining of a finals 3 as we did 1 and 2.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges with FIRST Robotics in the modern era, is we can just dump so much power into the motors constantly that the inefficiencies of them converts that power to thermal energy, and they get really hot, like fry an egg type of hot. So to be ready for the next match within 15 minutes, you've got to be icing down these motors, blowing them down with fans to get them cool so that your robot performs the same way you expect it to in the next match. And the way autonomous modes they're so creative and so good these days, if your motors are a little bit warmer, they perform a little differently, and that can throw off your autonomous modes.
Yeah, and we've seen incredible autonomous modes from both sides of this of these alliances, and so I expect it to be a fight for the rings, and so you've got to make sure that you are ready for that. Well, that is our preview of Finals Match 3. We're not quite ready to play the match, but we are going to send it back down to the field so that they are ready when all the robots are on the field and ready to go. We will see you back for a few seconds after this match. Let's go down to the field for Finals 3 of the 10th Chezy Champs. Take it away.